So Primetel are focused on helping customers on the journey of change, and we cover a whole range of services. But effectively, you know, we help organisations either in the early investigation stage, so trying to understand what options might be available to solve the problem that they're facing. We can design that solution, and if need be, we can write a tender to support the fact-finding exercise. Where we add most value and probably the strongest portion of what we do is the supplier selection portion, which kind of is what we're giving you an example here today of companies that can provide a cloud-based phone system. And then we take that all the way through to contract negotiation, you know, leveraging our past work with some of these suppliers to your commercial advantage. But having worked in this industry for a long period of time, it's understanding the terms and conditions associated with that and the pitfalls and what to look out for. It's really where we can add value. Between us at director level, we've got around 50 years experience in this industry. We set Primetel up as an organization to be driven by solution, not one company's product. And as a result, that's given us the trusted advisor status within our clients, and has led to us winning some awards. Some of the solutions that we cover are here, and these are some of the webinars that we've worked on in the past. Like I said, we cover most things: telecommunications, IT security, hosting. But today we're focused on hosted telephony. We've seen a massive uptake of interest in 2020. I think, you know, for the reasons we know why. You know, the pandemic has really forced organisations to look at moving their communications platform into the cloud. But hosted telephony really doesn't do it justice. It really is a unified communications platform when looking at cloud-based systems that incorporate not just telephony but messaging, and as we all know very well at this current time, video meetings, you know, has become the new norm, and I certainly think that video meetings are here to stay. You know, people like the ability to not have to travel 3 hours for an hour meeting, you know, not have to dash up and down the country from meeting to meeting. You know, being able to have those meetings from the comfort of your own home is not only better for the environment, it's better for the person. And that's being replicated in other systems, such as bring your own device. Organisations are allowing individuals to bring their own mobiles. How do you control the cost? Well, with a unified communications platform, you can install an application on the mobile, which helps then control costs. Just someone else can go on mute there. And then you get all the inherent benefits of having a cloud-based system. It's flexible. You know, you can add and remove users as and when. It's reliable. It's in the cloud. You know, inherent resiliency built into that. And then you can start to play around with how that system integrates with other applications. And what we've seen is, you know, productivity going up. Just not because people are working from home, but the fact that you can integrate your telephony platform into things like CRM is really useful if you've got a Salesforce or customer services team. So today we're going to be hearing from, we have 3 providers up there, but unfortunately one of them's pulled out at the last minute. We'll be hearing from Cisco and Masergy. So Masergy are providers of Cisco-based telephony platform. We work with Masergy because their customer experience is second to none. Their portfolio of services that supports everything they do is not just around telephony, but it's around the wide area network. It's around the IT security piece. So a great option if you know Cisco or if you're thinking about going down that route. And then we also have Fuze, a born in the cloud provider of telephony. Fuze have an excellent reputation of working with organisations in that medium enterprise and above space. You know, owners of their own intellectual property gives a real unique spin on what you can and can't do with a communications infrastructure. And like I said, unfortunately, Avaya can't be with us today. But you know, if anyone's interested in seeing that platform in more detail, we will certainly be setting up calls afterwards. So before I hand over to Colin at Masergy, if anyone has any questions as we're going, please just ask. I will give opportunity to ask as we go through as well. So Colin, did you want to take over?
I will do. Thank you very much, Scott. Thank you for those kind words and introduction. The first thing I'm going to do is try and share my screen. So just bear with me. Share. Yeah. Can you just give me the thumbs up, Scott, if you can see my screen?
Yep, got it.
Fantastic. Excellent. Yes. So thanks very much, everybody, for joining, and thanks for the introduction, Scott. So my name isn't actually Ben Crandon. I'm standing in for my colleague who couldn't make it today. My name's Colin Sarling. So I've been here at Masergy for 12 years now, and so I'll take you through our UCaaS proposition as it relates to this webinar as we have it. And Cisco features very heavily throughout this. We've actually found ourselves inheriting a Cisco platform. We've had for the last 13 years a global BroadSoft platform deployment on a global basis. And as you probably know, Cisco acquired BroadSoft 3 years ago for $3 billion. So we've kind of inherited or ended up with a Cisco-based solution, which is no bad thing. So just a little bit about Masergy. So who is Masergy? You may not have heard of Masergy before. So essentially, we're a technology organization. We operate globally and help serve the needs of global organizations. We're relatively new. We were founded back in 2000, and we've been growing ever since, basically. We're US headquartered, Dallas in Texas. We've been providing UCaaS and CCaaS services since 2004. Was that noise? Could you hear that noise, Paul? Was that me or?
Yeah, I heard that. I think.
Yeah, I'll just carry on.
Yeah, just carry on. I'll mute people.
Yeah, wasn't sure if it was me or not. So yeah, so we're about $500 million turnover, and we're fairly engineering led. So we're quite geeky as an organization. As you can see there, about 80% of the organization are operations and engineering, as opposed to sort of admin and sales and that kind of thing. As the industry, as we relate to the industry, we have unmatched service level agreements. So we own and operate this global network that our Cisco UC platform is supported on. And on that global platform, we offer unmatched SLAs in the industry. We offer 100% in-sequence packet delivery from anywhere in the world to anywhere else in the world, 100% site level uptime guarantees, 100% cloud service availability for companies that are wanting to use our network to access cloud providers, the Amazons and the Azures, etc. Sub 1 millisecond of jitter between any two POPs anywhere in the world, which is a key metric for a successful real-time application like voice and video. And then we publish our latency guarantees. You can see those on our website. 5-minute response to any issues we see on your network from our network operations centers. And obviously proactive credits for service level agreement breaches. And why do I mention these metrics? You may think they're not immediately obvious and relevant to a UCaaS solution, but basically this is for our global IP backbone network that supports our entire UCaaS platform. And so all of the packets, all of your voice packets and video packets that are being transported by our UCaaS platform, UCaaS system, are across our own network, so we've got control of those packets, and the quality is second to none. As an organization, we're fairly hell-bent on customer experience and customer satisfaction, and for those that are familiar with the SAP metrics, Net Promoter Score metric, we have the highest in the industry. It's been just over 70 for the last 4 years in a row, compared to our industry peers that are sort of mid-teens, basically. So just moving on. As I mentioned, we own and operate the global network and SD-WAN. We're selling a lot of SD-WAN solutions to global organizations at the moment. Cybersecurity is a standalone solution that we have to sell and offer to the market, and also integrates with the SD-WAN as part of the SASE framework that we offer. But what we're talking about today is the cloud communications, UCaaS and CCaaS, which is why you're all here. All of the solutions that we offer are underpinned by a customer portal that provides very granular analytics and self-service capabilities for some of the features that we offer. Okay, so everyone's heard of Cisco, I'm sure, on the call, and obviously, Cisco are Magic Quadrant leaders for UCaaS, so they've got a very good proposition in the market. It's a complete cloud-based solution. And what we can do using that Cisco platform is hybrid migration. So not everyone wants a big bang approach to a cloud platform. A lot of people have legacy technology out there and want a sort of roadmap into a cloud-based environment, and that's typically what we're doing a lot of the time. As I just mentioned, Masergy as an organization, we've got the global backbone of the industry-leading SLAs. We've been providing UCaaS. You know, we often joke that we know the Cisco platform better than Cisco do, because we've been operating it for the last 13 years, and Cisco only acquired BroadSoft 3 years ago, as I say, so it's quite an interesting fact there. We are Cisco's #1 partner when it comes to total number of users, and also when it comes to bookings, you know, order bookings of contact center solutions for the Cisco platform. So a couple of decent accolades there for us. I don't know how many people on the call work for a global organization or not, but this is the extent of our global backbone network I was just talking about. And you can see the black dots and circles connected with the black lines. That's the kind of IP fabric that we own and operate on a global basis. And then you can see the Cisco Webex circles, the multicolored circles, are where we have our voice gateways, basically. So there's nowhere in the world that's beyond that magic 150 millisecond round trip delay for high definition, that's required for high definition voice. And this is built on a redundant architecture, so we can lose any one of these voice gateways and carry on, basically. So when we talk about UCaaS, typically we're often replacing on-prem legacy technology, and oftentimes if it's a new office startup, we're just deploying the UCaaS solution directly there. This slide serves to provide you an idea of where we currently have presence and can provide a local calling experience in all of these countries. So it's about 25 countries there at the moment. When I say local calling experience, we can provide emergency number registration, full number porting, and the full telephone experience in all those places. If there's a country that you're in that isn't listed there, we have a global gateway solution where we can actually provide similar or we can spoof the similar service experience in off-net countries where we don't actually operate. And the countries at the bottom there on the roadmap in red are the ones that are next up in terms of where we're going next, rolling out our UCaaS solution. So, SIP trunking, obviously we provide SIP trunking as well as a fully hosted service. And from a SIP trunking point of view, we provide native SIP or PRI type connectivity into the legacy platforms by dedicated circuits, dedicated connectivity, or over the top or over the internet. It makes no difference to us. We'd always recommend dedicated circuits just for quality, call quality, and manageability. One thing that we do that's quite good at the moment is a lot of our competitors are pricing up their UCaaS service as a price per seat or a price per user. We can do that, but we also have the option to price things the traditional way, the old-fashioned way, if you like, with SIP trunks and call paths. So you might have 1,000 users, you might only need 100 concurrent call paths. So in that sense, we're just charged for the call paths, which tends to lead to a more cost-effective model and solution. We can pull the call path. So if you've got like 20 offices across Europe in 5 or 6 different countries, you don't need to specify exactly how many SIP trunks you want per office or per country. We can say, right, we want 100 SIP trunks for all of those users in Europe, and we'll just pull them together. So you get the economies of scale by pulling those. We provide bundled minutes as well. Probably goes without saying, we can bundle in 500, 1,000, 1,500 local, national, and mobile minutes into the SIP trunk package as well. And something else that's quite good because of the way we do things is you often find these hosted environments, or these SIP trunking environments, our customers may have a primary and a secondary on-prem PBX system in a data center, primary data center, secondary data center. And what we can do is provide that redundancy free of charge. So we're only interested in the number of SIP trunks you're going to concurrently use. So you might want 200 SIP trunks on a concurrent basis. We'll drop 200 trunks into primary data center, 200 into the secondary data center, just charge you for the 200, and failover will be automatic. So that's quite a neat feature. If we look at this slide here, this is really saying that using the platform, the global platform, typically what we're doing is providing a roadmap for our customers that may have legacy on-prem technology at the moment and wanting to move to a fully hosted environment. what we can do is for new offices that come up, we can stand them up as a fully hosted environment. We can still support the legacy PBX environment, and we can provide a common dialing plan and schema across the whole environment. So it's as though you're on the one telephone system, if you like. And then as and when the legacy PBXs become end of life, etc., migrate those sites fully over to the hosted platform, essentially. Okay, so looking at this slide here, essentially Cisco, obviously, are leaders in the industry. You'd be hard pushed to find someone in this industry that hasn't heard of Cisco. And so from a UC and a CC space, Cisco are putting their whole weight behind this. They see this as a massive market. So what we often find is some UCaaS solutions are built on a little bit of one technology, a little bit of another technology, and sort of put together with disparate components. What we're able to do here using Cisco is offer the full feature set on the one Cisco technology end-to-end. So the telephony, the UC, messaging, mobility, you name it, it's all there. And you've got the full weight of Cisco on all of their research and development and road mapping as part of the package. Excuse me. So I don't know if anyone on the call is familiar with the Webex interface, but this is typically what it looks like. I use this all day, every day, basically. So it provides all the features and functions you'd expect from, you've got your contacts embedded in there. You can do collaboration on documents and screen sharing and that kind of thing. Presence of your colleagues, instant messaging, calling from a telephony point of view. And then obviously you've got the mobility piece as well. So I've got the same app that I take with me on my mobile phone. So unfortunately, I don't have many excuses these days to avoid to get out of a team meeting, so to speak. But it's got a really nice user interface there. So a lot of organizations, and I'm sure a few people on this call as well, have already invested and adopted in other technologies, so Microsoft Teams, Slack, etc., etc. And we're not fighting against those at all. I mean, there's a big tidal wave moving forwards for these collaboration tools, and Microsoft obviously have a big chunk of the market. Using Cisco Webex, basically what we can do is sit alongside some of those platforms, and anyone that uses Microsoft Teams is probably aware that the Microsoft calling plans aren't the most economical in the world. In fact, they're actually quite expensive, and they're not really coming at it from a telco point of view. They're coming at it from a software service provider point of view, and I think they publicly stated that they don't provide human support for their MS Teams capability. It's all sort of email and robot type thing. So what Masergy can do is actually sit alongside typically an MS Teams deployment, and we can provide the call termination capability for you. There's a plugin, a Cisco plugin that goes into MS Teams, and essentially through that you've got the full experience of everything that I've just mentioned to you, but right from your Microsoft Teams interface, if you like. And importantly, if we do that, then the customer that has the MS Teams implementation doesn't need to buy the PBX license that's quite pricey with MS Teams. You're actually using the Masergy PBX capability. So that's quite neat. So the way the solution works is there's different packages. There's a package for every kind of type of user that you have in your organization. So everyone gets the basic package, which includes the collaboration for up to 25 people and integration and pairing with telephone endpoints, etc., etc. The standard package adds to that meetings, the capability of doing meetings, video meetings, telephone meetings, and then the premium package adds to that the capability to have up to 1,000 participants in the meeting and also do meeting recordings as well. So you got the different options there, basically. So Masergy, we support all of the different media endpoints from Poly, former Polycom endpoints, and all of the Cisco ones as well. So we provide those on a one-off sale basis, or we can provide those on a monthly charge with a lifetime guarantee, basically. So we can provide all of the telephone media endpoints. We also support a lot of the Cisco collaboration device portfolio. So you've got the big room telepresence type machines, room-based collaboration tools, and desktop video devices. We can provide all of those and support those on an ongoing basis. as we can with the Polycom portfolio. Excuse me. So if we look at the overall platform here, so the whole Cisco solution, it integrates into many other platforms. So we're often asked, does your solution integrate with this CRM or that email marketing solution? So the answer is yes. So the Cisco environment, it's full open API environment, and there are literally hundreds of plugins that you can get to connect it to other applications that your business may be using. So from a management and an operational point of view, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, all of our customers get access to this management portal to manage and view exactly what's happening on your environment. So the whole UCaaS platform that we're offering to the market, it's true for that as well. So the full visibility and access of what's going on your UCaaS environment, the MOS score, the quality of the calls, it is all monitored there, call detail records, etc., etc. I'll skip along that one. That's a slide of all of the customers that we have. So essentially what we're doing at Masergy here is allowing companies to transform with certainty from a legacy environment to a hosted environment in a controlled way with a defined roadmap that we'll define with you and work with you on. We'll provide a consultative approach. Obviously the solution's global. You've got the tools to manage it yourself to the extent that you want to, although we can provide it as a fully managed service, no price difference there. Lots of future-proofing and design flexibility built into the platform and the way that we approach this with you. And we always aim to build a true partnership with our customers. So I don't know how I've done for time there, Scott. I know things changed. So I'm pretty much at the end, so I'm happy to take questions now or at the end of the presentation.
Yeah, I mean, this is an open forum, so if anyone has got any questions, just knock yourself off mute, the little button down on the left, and feel free to ask. We're definitely seeing a lot of interest in the Cisco space here, and you might not be a global organization, but working with a company that's got a global presence offers benefits when it comes to voice in terms of cost. If a company can carry the call from one country to another on their own network, they're going to be doing it a lot cheaper than a company that is jumping on other people's networks and buying that space as they go. So you may not be a global company, but you can definitely get benefits of dealing with a global company when it comes to things like cost. And then also Masergy gives the option for teams. We've seen a real surge in interest specifically for Microsoft Teams, and that's definitely been driven by the pandemic, but it's also been driven by what people had available to them at the time of needing to implement a remote working strategy. If you're an Office 365 user, you've probably got Teams environment, you're using it for messaging. Enabling it for the phone system is a great way to go, but 100% doing it via Microsoft is not the right way to do it. It's expensive and the support is lacking. We hear lots of stories about the issues they have with Microsoft support, especially when it comes to the phone system. So this is where partners that are specialists in telephony add a lot of value, like Masergy and Fuze we'll hear from later, that can give you that Teams integration, but at a true business voice level, which is what's needed.
Yeah, well said, Scott. I mean, like you say, the pandemic's driven an awful lot of uptake in this, the whole work from home piece and the contact center piece as well. If there's anyone on the call that has a contact center environment, your agents are now all working from home, but they want to feel that sort of corporate feel, and they want to be able to be fully productive just working from home. And this, these UC solutions that are out there, including our Cisco one, is an ideal way of providing that service and extending it to the home office.
Perfect. Okay, thanks for that, Colin. So
you're welcome.
Now we'll open it up to Fuze and Phil, if you want to stop sharing, Colin.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Colin. So, and thanks very much, Scott. Let me just share my screen, and then we can get going. Great. Just confirm that screen share is coming through there.
Yeah, got it.
Perfect. So, first question that prompted Fuze to come out is answering really why the need to go to UCaaS? And this is a really key component and a key core of why we exist and the service that we deliver to our customers. And so by answering that question, it helps us then to deliver the best service and deliver what's required. And we find that these are typically the key drivers for people looking to go to a UCaaS solution. So reducing the cost and complexity. So it's moving from either an on-premise or other hosted solution to something which is built from the ground up. It's all centralized and it's all on one platform. Out of the back of that, being able to then deliver a fantastic user experience through having the same interface across all of the apps and have everything available in one place or easily integrated to your other business productivity tools. And then of course, then that leads to the third driver about improving your productivity by putting everything as much as possible in the one place, but also then delivering it in a way where you're going to have high quality calls, which then allows you as a business to be able to interact better with your customers, other businesses, so that it can help improve your productivity and your success. And what we did is we looked at when the company started, looked at what was in the market, and unified communications, or telephony particularly, was the last thing that has moved completely to the cloud. We saw earlier, years ago, things like Salesforce.com for the CRM or ServiceNow for the service desk, which were solutions that were born in the cloud versus on-premise legacy sort of providers, which are making the move. And that's the approach that Fuze took to build something from the ground up, so that you could be more scalable and be more fresh and deliver in a way that suits the modern world. So then moving from an on-premise solution where you're dealing typically with hardware to a hosted where you're getting someone else to look after the hardware, to a cloud solution where then you suddenly get all of the benefits of a platform that is always going to be up to date, because there is nothing for you to update or your tech partner to update. Being able to deliver that as a service so that it can fit into the OpEx model, but also can be CapEx if you wish. And having increased support and security because of that, because then that takes a lot of the burden off you as the end customer. And just delivering a modern experience. And as we've seen over the past year and a half or longer, so it seems, with the current pandemic, having that solution that's very easily delivered anywhere, so that one day you can be in the office, the next day you can be at home, and there's no change needed. So then why Fuze for delivering all of those capabilities and delivering that great experience? We are a single platform and we own all our own technology, which means that we can then deliver the best experience possible and always continue to innovate on there and add new capabilities and features, which are dropped down to either the desktop client, the mobile, or even to our handsets or other devices which we support. Being 100% cloud, all the advantages that I mentioned, in the fact that with our global presence and our agility, we can then easily scale up to meet the customer's needs. So you're not constrained by the number of SIP lines, or you're not constrained by the number of voice cards that you might have in your PBX. All of those concepts now are really not relevant anymore in this new world. And with that as well, then it takes away all of those management around redundancy, having to manage all of the security layers while still being able to give access to it from wherever your users need to be. The other part that's really key to Fuze is that we have a very strong delivery team, both internally and through our partners, so that we're not just a solution that will sell you a few licenses and send a box of phones. We do the complete end-to-end service, from looking at your requirements, making the recommendations, coming up with a proper deployment and success and adoption plan, and then following through on that to make sure that as a customer, you're getting what you need when you need it. So whether that be a single office at a time, a single country, on a rolling basis, whatever schedule suits you as the customer, and then delivering that in a really cost-effective, standardized type way. And we can deliver that throughout the globe. Just a snapshot of where our key locations are and the private backbone that we have between them, so that we can deliver free on-net calls, as you would expect, but also with our carrier relationships in a plethora of countries across the globe, we're able to deliver PSTN breakout wherever you need it to be. What that translates to then for the end user is an experience that allows them to consume the service wherever they need to be, whether it is in an office, when hopefully we'll all be able to go back, or whether that's working home or wherever you happen to be, and whatever device makes sense. So from here, calls can come in or go out over the PSTN. They can be answered on any of these devices, and that can be typically a VoIP connection, which will go over your home Wi-Fi or the mobile data network, or even if the mobile data network isn't so good or your Wi-Fi isn't so good, can leverage the GSM on your mobile to make sure that you're never going to miss a call, unless of course you have no signal completely. And then be able to easily do things like move them around between them. And what that means as well is that because it's the same platform, the same number across all those devices, then you're going to get the advantages of having powerful data and analytics sitting behind that, so that you make sure that all of that is captured to then combine with your other business metrics in order to help drive effective business decisions, whether that's managing the performance of a particular team, looking at the volumes of calls which are coming in at a particular time of day, or just looking at general business activities and using that to make strategic decisions, both short-term and long-term. Now, of course, that's the Fuze platform. We live in a world where people consume a wide array of business tools in order to facilitate the modern workplace. So for that, we have the Fuze Marketplace, where we have an extensive list of existing integrations, plus the ability to request more, and whether they be things which are turned on by the user, which are implemented at rollout time, or which can be plugged in at a later date through other technology partners. But for those solutions which might not exist today in terms of an integration, like I say, they can be requested. But we also then have the developer portal as well, where we publish our APIs to allow us, yourselves, or a partner to be able to build bespoke integrations as well to suit your needs. What I'm going to do now is switch to a very quick live demo just to give you guys a glimpse of the end user experience, and then we'll come back and wrap up with some more details around our track record and why customers really take advantage of Fuze. So over here I have 2 devices on there. I'm logged in actually through the web, which could be you can log in on the desktop via its own client or use a web browser for fully functional without any plugins required. And on the left, we have a mobile phone that we're mirroring. You can see we have our Fuze application on here available from the App Store. It's the same user across those devices, so it's very simple in order to, if a call was to come in, it could be answered on either of those devices right now. We do have the ability to do instant messaging, the calling, and the audio and video conferencing from the same platform and from the same interface, which is very crucial. But equally, we realize that people use their own tools as well, so that's fine. Our customers have the ability to pick from a number of packages in order to leverage the capabilities that they require. And some of those on the integration as well includes deep integration with Microsoft Teams and other solutions as well, and also extensive integration with the general Google and Microsoft Office 365 suites as well, in order to really hook in and take advantage of those in terms of contact lookups, in terms of being able to place calls from within Outlook and other situations like that as well. The other key part is that we have our own contact center solution which sits within the client. So let me just maximize that part. And this is something that we're actively developing. So we'll be rolling out our omni-channel features towards the back half of this year. And it allows you to do a couple of things. From the agent perspective, an agent has the ability to sign in and out of the queues that they're assigned to, and they get a live view about the status of the queue. So if there are any actually calls waiting, they can see that and see which queue that relates to. They can see if how many agents are active, so that if there are any calls waiting and there's no active agents, they can log in or take themselves off pause in order to be able to then answer that call. They can get a snapshot of the performance of the queue and see how the SLA has been met for the queue for that day. Really all about just giving the users what they need, where they need it, without having to switch between multiple screens. For the supervisors, they get an incredible amount of visibility of the performance of the queues and also of how the agents are going there as well, with the ability here to be able to assign these visual alerts to instantly notify the supervisor about how the queue is performing. So here on this queue marked second queue, we can see that it's for one of the calls. So one of out of the 3 calls which have come in, the SLA in terms of being able of answering that call within a certain time hasn't been met. If then it is breached further, then it would flash up in red as well. So without having to look and really examine the data, it instantly pops out to give that ability to take action immediately. And then we see things like this where the number of abandoned calls has breached the threshold, and a warning to say that there's less than the optimum number of agents available. And once again, this is a completely live view, so they can see exactly what's going on right now. And then they have the ability then to dive down and manage each of these particular queues as they want to. So whether that's looking at the agents, being able to log in to pause a particular agent or make them resume, and log them in and out as well. And then when a call does come in, they have also then the ability to handle that and decide what action takes place. So if we place a call going in here now, they can answer it. They can decide to transfer it to another queue, or if it's answered by the agent, if it is answered by an agent, which 1 second here, I've got running my demos. If it is answered by the agent, they then get the ability to easily monitor the call for training purposes. So that was just a very quick glimpse about what it means in terms of the user experience. On top of this as well, they get a deep view of the analytics. So everything is captured in order to be analyzed and looked at a later date. So whether that's looking at what's just been happening today, or the greater long-term trends in terms of how the queue's been performing through customizable dashboards. Plus, all of this has the ability as well with our APIs to be exported, to be extracted into third-party tools as well, as well as the solutions we have for automatically logging calls against CRMs or help desks and so on. So just a quick view of what the user experience is like there. Now, because of the way we deliver service and our user experience, Forrester has named us as a leader in their wave. Now, the key difference here to other analysts is that Forrester actually take the time to go through a really deep product dive, so that they look at a demo of the product, they dive into the solution and its capabilities, as opposed to just conducting it through surveys. So this is a result of them looking at us, looking at all of the other products in the field at a really sort of deep level, really scrutinizing them. And then what we see then, the result of this, of the way we deliver the service and our support, is an incredibly high CSAT score, 4.9 out of 5, which to give you a comparison, these are the sort of scores that we see that organizations such as Amazon have in terms of the CSAT scores. Because organizations like those are known for having extremely high customer service level. And that's really a credit to how we roll out, and also how fantastic our support team is. We can also really deploy very quickly as well. So either, you can see here, 90% of deployments is completed in an average of 52 days, but there are cases where if there's something needs to be deployed in an emergency, we can get that done in a matter of days as well. I'm not going to read all of this, but just picking up a few different snapshots there is that the other factor there is 92% of our call rating scored a 4 or higher, which is a must score out of 5. Which means that we're able to consistently deliver high quality calls across our platform wherever our users happen to be consuming the service. And don't take our word for it. Some of our key customer testimonials, so PTC are a global software house. We can see here that we did a fantastic job delivering to them, and we're able to then be able to deliver the service they required in a way that helped their business to grow and deliver upon the high standards which they set. And then on the right there, Frank Recruitment Group, which recruitment being a sector which is very heavily reliant on voice, have extremely benefited from Fuze, both before the pandemic, but also since, and being able to help them at very much a moment's notice, be able to pivot from being in an office to all of their staff having to work remote. And I think that's a testament to how not only do we strive to deliver a great service, but we want to work with our customers really tightly to make sure that it's not just the telephony service they're benefiting from, but it's something which becomes a key part of their business processes and a key part of their business. Just like to end there and say thank you. I think I saw a question come through there. I don't know.
No, that was
see the questions.
No, I was just giving people the option to ask questions in the chat. I didn't.
Oh, brilliant. Maybe I'm a bit too optimistic there, but
yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Phil. That was excellent. We've done a lot of work with Fuze recently. I like the team at Fuze, very diligent, very thorough in understanding the customer's requirements and the impact that an implementation of this sort will have, not just addressing the immediate challenge, but also the impacts it's going to have further down the line, and ensuring that the solution fits the brief. So yeah, we like the guys at Fuze. It's their own intellectual property, and it gives them a lot of benefits to support around that. So I did say at the beginning of the call, Avaya wouldn't be attending, but we've had someone from Avaya step in at the last minute and save the day. So we've got Joshua on Avaya, who's going to just talk a bit about the Avaya offering. We've got about 12 minutes left, so yeah.
Don't you worry, I'll fly through it. quite the introduction there.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. And if anyone's got any questions, just put them in the chat, or ask away. Let's maybe try and keep this last one a bit interactive. But Josh, if you want to just share your screen from the bottom and take it from there.
No trouble. Yeah, so as I go, guys, any questions, just shoot them my way. I don't like feeling like some sort of teacher, and I'll keep it high level. But anything like if you want a follow-up session or one-to-one demo or anything, just let me know. So yeah, let me just share my screen and just let me know when you can see this.
Yep, got that.
Yeah.
See your slides, yeah.
Yeah, let me just move this all around. Beautiful stuff.
Perfect.
Okay, and you can all hear me clearly, yeah?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Beautiful stuff. That's brilliant. Okay, so just to give you a bit of context as to who I am, who's this guy that's just run on the call last minute and is stealing some of your time. So I'm Josh Chapman, an Avaya cloud specialist. I've been working in this team since the launch in the UK last July. And what I'll do is I'll just do a bit of an overview of ACO, the Avaya partnership with Primetel and RingCentral. And yeah, just as I go, any questions, just interject as and when. Nice. So I'm sure you've probably heard of Avaya, especially as we were meant to kick off this call and we didn't. So apologies for that. Just a quick overview as to who we are. So we're big in the UCaaS space. 1 in 4, unified communications customers are Avaya. We're a recognized leader by Gartner, Frost and Sullivan, and all the big names, of course. 9 out of 10 of the top UK banks use Avaya, and of course, we've got a bit of a reputation in the industry. The reason for the partnership with Avaya and RingCentral, so it's quite funny. About 4 days into my Avaya career, this partnership got announced, and I had no idea I'd end up, working as part of the team. We've sort of needed a shortcut to get into the UCaaS space. So unified communications and contact center, on premise, those sort of physical bits of equipment is what we've been known for in the past. And we almost wanted a shortcut to get to that, to be a market leader in the UCaaS space. And RingCentral obviously wanted, to have a look into our installed base. So as you can see, a quarter of the global, UC users worldwide are Avaya customers. And we've basically taken RingCentral's platform, taken their code base, and we're building on top of it, adding our own features and providing our own support. And that is the reason for the partnership altogether, really. And as what we'll see now is the 2 products will, diverse more and more as we add our own features. There's sort of quarterly feature releases, and what you will notice is the 2 products will become more and more different. At the moment, I'd say the key differences between the 2 would be the support that Primetel, Avaya, and RingCentral together provide. So what you'll notice on this next slide, look at this lovely sort of Venn diagram. What we've got is we've got dedicated resource from RingCentral and Avaya based on just this platform. So there'll be RingCentral employees that are just focused on Avaya Cloud Office. And what we get is basically double the research and development and sort of double, the care looking after customers, and sort of suiting, fitting any needs you need or any requirements. We can hopefully accommodate that. So what is Avaya Cloud Office itself? So this is a new telephony solution, born in the cloud. And the whole idea of it is basically it gives you the power to use whatever device you want to work from. So you'll notice on the right-hand side, you've still got the option to use a desk phone if you like, but you can also rely on desktop applications. You can see right now I've got a headset on and I'm working on my laptop, but we've also got a mobile app available. So that's completely free. You can log into it on up to 7 devices using that app. And it's all auto-twinned. And what I mean by that is if someone rang your desk phone, your mobile app would ring as well. So you won't miss a call. It doesn't matter sort of where you are. I sneakily took a work call from Morrison's the other day, which was a new experience for me, but I was able to do that, and the customer didn't even realize. So you've got a bit more flexibility and mobility, and that is sort of customizable on a user by user basis. So say you've got some, younger staff coming in, they don't want anything to do with desk phones and they just want to work with a mobile app and, and a headset, you can do so. But equally, if you've got, your more traditional types that want that physical handset on a desk, we can accommodate that too. Just
on that, does the mobile client, does that use the data network or the GSM network or both?
It use the data. So if you've got Wi-Fi, obviously the call will be made through the Wi-Fi. But if you don't have that, it would go through the data. If you happen to be in a black hole, for signal and Wi-Fi, you would basically appear as, like invisible. So you wouldn't have a failed call, if that makes sense. If you set up a call queue, it would just go through to the next option on the list.
Right.
So yeah, it's so far it's been pretty foolproof, thankfully. But yeah, so you've got a few different options there.
Perfect.
Is there anything else on that?
No, that's it.
Nice. And I think one of the other things that's been a real like important aspect for us with Avaya Cloud Office is it sort of simplifies what customers have to pay for. So rather than paying for SIP trunks, lines, minutes, all from different providers, you've got it all bundled under one price and sort of billed directly by Avaya. And you've got the support of Primetel there as well, who can help with some of the other services we might not provide. And I think that's something for our customers that's been pretty massive in the last year. It's a real shift. It's more of a subscription style, product. And what you also get is those feature releases that come out once a quarter. So you don't have to, sign on for anything or pay any extra. It will auto update overnight and you get the latest and greatest features. So I think they're two of the real things that have been pulling people towards Avaya Cloud Office is that mobility. So working from any device, in any place. And also just simplifying things, having it all under one roof, and not getting shocked by any sort of hidden costs or anything of that nature. As you can see, it's obviously scalable. So we sell to people, one man in a shed, but we've also sold to some quite big customers. So linked with the track and trace around COVID, they sort of trusted a Avaya Cloud Office and Avaya's telephony to back that up. And I think the main thing as well, so I think the elephant in the room a lot of the time is Teams. And this is a product that can either replace Teams or you can use alongside Teams. There's no we're under no illusions there. A lot of people have started using it over the last year. I'd say the main reason you'd want to use ACO alongside it is that 5 nines uptime. So that basically translates into about 5 minutes downtime a year. With 3 nines, it's 8 hours and 45 minutes downtime a year. And that's not going to all happen on one, lovely day. Everyone gets the 1st of June off. That will be 10-minute outages, each week. And it will just get rather frustrating because you'll have no visibility over the calls and that could cost you a lot of money. Why move to ACO? So obviously I've mentioned a few of these things already. So work from anywhere, any device. I think in this past year with a lot of people working remotely, there's been a real stress on these sorts of solutions, hasn't there? And people have sort of changed how they've worked. I know for one, I was a little scared to work from home before lockdown because I didn't know how productive I'd be. And I think we've just sort of been forced into being productive, haven't we, over the course of the last year. So working from anywhere and any device, you just need a sturdy internet connection and a device that can connect to the internet. And of course, the ability to call people locally and call abroad. So included in the service is outbound minutes to 24 countries across Europe and EMEA. But obviously any internal calls or video calls won't use any minutes. So there's a bit of a loophole there, if that makes sense. Obviously you can retain your existing numbers, so we can port over DDIs as part of the service. We can also add additional numbers. So say you wanted, presence in countries that you might not have just yet, we can do that. We can set people up in, the US and Canada and Australia as a real global solution. One thing to note as well will be the integrations. So there's many out-of-the-box integrations for CRMs, call storage providers and whatnot. And I'll go on to those in just a little bit. Are there any questions at all? Beautiful. I'll crack on. So I've obviously touched on this already. It's the ability to sort of work from any device in any place. But the other things that's, really simplify things for our customer is each user will have their own extension. So you're still contactable, on your own number. But obviously you've got that extensive sort of IVR in the background as well. And all the features you might expect, like hunt groups and call queues and overflows and whatnot. You've still got those features just on a cloud solution now. And you can make tweaks and changes to that remotely. So say on a Sunday evening, half the team, comes down with COVID. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But if that did happen, you could make your changes from your lounge and, you'd be up and running the next day as if nothing had happened. Beautiful. I'll crack on. I'll keep this high level. Obviously, we've got some quite powerful analytics. I actually think it's kind of terrifying. So if you are having issues with your call quality, you could actually pinpoint the device and the postcode and even the broadband provider as to why that call's been of poor quality. So say, for example, BT are going to have an outage in a local area. You could circumvent that issue and take those people using BT broadband out of the call queues. So you've got the ability to really adapt just from your own just from a browser. So long as you've got an internet connection, you can make changes wherever you are. and they will be reflected instantly in your your IVRs and whatnot. I will crack on. We can look into, if anyone wants to look, a bit deeper into the analytics that come with this, just reach out to us. We can set up a session. So something I referenced earlier was the out-of-box integrations. So you'll hopefully recognize some of these, these logos on the right-hand side, obviously Teams there as well. We've got a link to this as well, so you can have a little check, see if your CRM or your, your storage provider can integrate with ACO. But that's something we can typically do out of the box as everything's open API. Lovely stuff. And again, just to reiterate, that 5 nines uptime, I think people don't often understand the difference between that 3 nines and 5 nines. This is backed up financially within the contract, as is the 3.8 calls quality. They're both backed up financially. So if Avaya ever got caught slipping below that, you would get credit back and money back. But that's how confident we are. The system will be up and running. You won't be missing any calls. We back it up financially in the contract. And I'd recommend, just as a general rule of thumb, any provider you're talking with, just make sure you check what the uptime is and whether they've put it in the contract. Because they could say a lot of things, but they might, if they slip below 3 nines, they might be like, whoops, like what a shame sort of thing. They might not actually compensate you as a customer. But that's something ACO can provide. And of course, all of this, I've mentioned this a few times, the fact that you can access this and make changes to it from your lounge, as long as you've got internet connection. It's designed to be self-service, so you don't have to come, if you don't want anything to do with Avaya or Primetel, for example, you could do this and deal with this yourself. Obviously, we're not going anywhere. You have 24/7 support, and you've got the ability and training to learn how to use this platform and make changes. Obviously, not every user will be able to make changes to the entire, company's telephony, but it's done on a sort of a roles basis. So you'd assign someone as a super admin and someone as an admin, and they'd be able to make changes. It's also very granular. You can drill down into each individual user and customize stuff like what order you want your devices to ring in. So say if someone calls me on I want it to ring my desk phone first. If I haven't answered that, I'm probably off making a coffee, so it needs to call my mobile next. You can really customize that, on an individual basis. So it's not just, it's not a free for all. Not all your devices won't necessarily all ring at once. You can customize that and just tweak it to suit how you like to work. Beautiful. And just to wrap up, obviously, interest of time, I'm not sure if I've gone over my 12-minute slot. I hope not. Just to summarize the things I've already said. So we've obviously got those app integrations, the new features that Avaya will bring to the platform that you won't be charged for, and just the ability, I think, to be a bit more mobile and a bit more agile has been really, really key for our customers, and it's really drawn people towards the platform. Not to mention, I'm not going to bang on about the 5 nines any longer, but the fact that it's global. We've had small customers. I thought, it might be too expensive to add on global users, like in America or in Canada or somewhere. But I've actually had a customer that was 5 users, and they created bespoke travel packages for people that go and find themselves on their gap year. And there was only 5 of them. 2 of them were based in Peru, calling out in America and Canada. 2 of them were based in the UK, and the 5th guy, poor bloke, was based in India, and he was just covering the 2 teams, trying to support them. So even though there was only 5 users, they could afford to have this real global presence. And that, I was shocked by that, to be honest. I thought it would only be, the deeper your pockets, the more likely you'd be able to accommodate that need. But yeah, I think I've kept it short and sweet. Hopefully I haven't gone over the time too much.
That's perfect, Josh. Yeah.
Fantastic. I will stop sharing. Any questions, just fire them my way.
No, well done. Thanks for that.
No trouble.
We've really got behind the Avaya proposition, and I think that the tie-up with Ring Central makes perfect sense. You want to get into that cloud space, and who better to partner with than the current perceived leader in that segment. So, I think it's really exciting times ahead for the Avaya Cloud Office proposition. I think, the Avaya brand is one that's always kind of, from a user perspective, sat behind a maintainer or a value-added reseller. Which has maybe kind of detracted from the excellent support, customer care that is inherent within the Avaya business. And by adopting this model, that experience is now open to everyone. The veil is lifted on what was perceived to be a complicated management process of a phone system, with something now in place that is so simple for someone to manage. you know, from a user perspective all the way up to an IT manager, I think there's a real game changer.
There is a question, Scott, that's come through for Josh.
Okay.
Yeah, I just answered it in the chat. Oh, no, I sent that privately. No worries. I believe at the time I made this presentation, 10,000 was the largest system we'd sold. We've actually sold a 20,000 seater system as well. So I think it was just when I made the presentation, that was the biggest one we'd done, to answer your question, Luke.
But that's not a limit, is it? Or is that just...
Yeah, there's no limit to it. You know, you can scale it up to whatever number of users you need. That's just at the time, that was the largest one we'd actually put in place. Yeah,
perfect. So cool. Thank you everyone for coming on and staying on. I know we've just run over a little bit. You know, the objective for this is really, you know, in the follow-up, you know, we want to know where you guys are on that journey and see if we can help you. Whether that's arranging a one-to-one session with any of the suppliers you've seen today, or maybe evaluating your current situation and matching you to a different supplier. So I'll follow up with everyone that's attended individually. I'll send out a copy of the presentation, and we will speak to you all soon. So thanks again for coming. Thanks to the suppliers.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
Presenting.
Josh, thanks for stepping in.
Thanks all.
No trouble, anytime. I like to think I'm better than Ash anyway, so.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Cheers,